Alright guys, it's VSing here and the time has finally come. It's week 1 of the CCL, our first official battle against Super Slayer 649, the coach of the Saffron Shaymins. So let's look at the teams really quick. I brought for the Canalave Carnivines, I brought Lando T, Skarmory, Typhlosion, Scrafty, Lantern and Confagrigus, and he brought Thundurus, Metagross, which is probably Mega, a Hydreigon, Slowking, Tangrowth, nice Regenerator Core, and Miltank. So, let's see how we do. Let's get to the battle. Right, so the thought process in my head was, he's leading with Thundurus. He's leading with Thundurus, so I should lead with Lantern. And I choked and I went, well, if he doesn't lead with Thundurus, I have a Scarfed U-turning Lando, so let's lead with that. So that's what happened. He actually did lead with the Thundurus, and I regretted it. I swapped out because I feared Scarfed HP Ice, so I got out of there and brought in my Lantern, which was specifically built to deal with this Thundurus, but he obviously must have predicted, I don't know what he predicted, a Stone Edge or something, so yeah. And he brought in his Mega Metagross. Now, my Lantern can't really do much other than try and Scald Burn it, so I just got out of there and switched into my Confagrigus, which completely walls his Mega Metagross. Now, as you'll see, he just went for the straight up Zen Headbutt, which did a lot more than I expected to my Confagrigus. But I was fine with that. I stayed in and took it because of Mummy. If he tried it again, it wouldn't do as much because his Tough Claws have gone. So at this point, my Confagrigus, if you know from my team building video, had Toxic Spikes, and I noticed he did not have his Hitmontop, which is a spinner. So I'm like, yo, perfect opportunity to start setting up my hazards. So I believe I went for the Toxic Spikes here. Yeah, so I tried to set up my hazards straight away because, like I said, he's got no spinner. Obviously I'm not staying in a Hydreigon and eating a Dark Pulse. Slayer, to his credit, I believe went for a Draco. It's a free Draco. I have nothing really that resists it other than Skarmory. But look at Scrafty come through here. He drops the Draco. I swallow it. Now obviously he's -2, so I'm confident enough to stay in and get off a free Drain Punch if I want to, but I know he's swapping out, so it's one of those cases where it's a free knockoff. Hentai Af, yeah, the Tangrowth. I knock off, which is, I guess, somewhat handy. This Tangrowth gets poisoned because of the spikes, and I knock off his leftovers, which is really handy actually. But at this point, I'm like, it's a physical wall, I'm not exactly going to stay in and do much, so I believe I bring in Skarmory? Because I predicted, yeah, I brought in Skarmory because I predicted a Sleep Powder, and out of everything, I don't mind Skarmory being asleep. So I was like, I'm fine with this. I don't know if I stayed in or not. No, I swapped out, because if I wake up, there's not really much I can do. So I brought in the Lando to get a free U-turn off, because I didn't expect him to stay in either. Yeah, because he swaps out. Because he can't really touch a Skarmory unless he's packing HP Fire. So yeah, he brought in Hydreigon, which is not a good matchup in this case, because obviously he's predicting me with the U-turn, which I do. It's the safest play. I was actually contemplating EQing here because I kind of figured he might swap out, but it's too risky. So I just U-turn out. I believe I bring in the Confagrigus again, because again, 1v1 it walls Metagross. Which again, I think this time he... Does he? Yeah, he swaps out. He made a nice play and swapped out. I don't know if he goes into Hydreigon or not. He does. So yeah, at this point, I get the spikes up, which is good. I now have all my toxic spikes up. Confagrigus somewhat has done its job because it was mainly there to get hazards up, but I still want to preserve it because 1v1 it walls Metagross. But yeah, again, I make the play, bring in Scrafty on a Hydreigon, expecting another Draco, but he just depulsed. He made the safe play because I believe the depulse plus a Draco will kill the Scrafty. I believe. I'm not sure. I have Fake Out just because I don't really have a reason not to have Fake Out. But he swaps out because I don't think he's confident enough that a Draco will knock me out. So I just stayed in, and did I knock off again, or did I just? No, I swapped out. Do I go into Skarmory here? Yeah. I kind of predicted the swap into the Tangrowth and brought out the Skarmory because, again, unless he's packing HP Fire, which I don't think he would, it can't touch the Skarmory, so I'm hoping to wake up and get up like the second level of hazards, which was my spikes. So yeah. But I don't wake up, I swap out, go into the Lantern, which in a 1v1 again, just walls this. He revealed the hidden power. At this point, I got scared. I was like, yo, that's grass. I'm dead. But he didn't. It was HP Ice for the Lando. So he nasty plotted. I got an Ice Beam off, which does a solid amount. Not as much as I had hoped. But the way this Lantern is EV'd, it was EV'd to eat a +2 hit Focus Blast or a Grass Knot from this thing, so I wasn't worried. Plus I have the Citrus to get health back so I can eat another one, which I do nicely here. It's a shame he hit all the Focus Blast, but I can't really complain. At this point I was like, I can Volt Switch and it dies because it doesn't have Volt Absorb. It's incarnate form. So I just swap out Preserve the Lantern because Death Fodder is honestly really useful, so I just bring in the Landorus. Again, it's a free U-turn. I'm not scared of Hidden Power Ice, Scarf to HP Ice anymore. So it's a free U-turn. I don't know if it... yeah, he protects because in case I would decide to EQ, then he can bring in the Hydreigon, but I just U-turn out. I believe he brings in Tangrowth. Yep. Just to eat the U-turn because it's a physical wall. It does a decent amount, but like, again, it's swallowing it. And I think we just go back into the old way of Tangrowth, so I bring in Skarmory, which I do, yep, I bring in the Skarmory, praying for it to wake up so I can start setting up my spikes, because he has no spinner. So I'm praying for the wake up. I want my spikes up. I need the spikes up because the Metagross is a problem. So obvious switch, he brings in the Hydreigon, I get layer 1 of spikes up, that's fine. At this point I swap out because I don't want to eat a Flamethrower, which I don't know if you had or not at this point, and I just bring in the Lantern as Death Fodder. It's an easy choice. So he Dark Pulsed. I was actually hoping he Draco so you get the -2, but he Dark Pulse, which is, I understand, it's why wouldn't you? So I believe, yeah, the Landorus comes back in because again, Scarf U-turn will do a shit ton to this thing. And honestly, like you'll see in this battle that Lando with U-turn is a serious issue for his team in general. He doesn't really have much that wants to take a U-turn. Obviously he's got his nice Regenerator core, but every time it's taking U-turn. And eventually it will start the Toxic and the Spikes and Stealth Rocks, which I wanted to get up as well. Because, again, no spinner. So I risked the Scarfed Rocks there, just because I knew he wouldn't stay in. So again, we're back to Tangrowth and Skarmory, because again, he can't touch me. He misses the Leech Seed, which is unfortunate for him, but honestly in the long run it wouldn't have mattered, because he swaps out, I believe I get layer 2 of Spikes up. I believe, let's see, the Hydreigon comes in. It was just a case of getting the Spikes up. I was like, honestly, the Metagross was an issue and Spikes would help. He reveals Roost, which honestly I wasn't expecting, but I should have, because let's be honest, if you know Slayer, you know he likes Stall. So I was like, of course he has Roost. I started Whirlwinding here. The plan was to phase, so I started doing it. I wanted everything on his team Toxic as soon as possible. So honestly, I just started Whirlwinding. Like, he can Scald me all he wants, it won't do much because it's a Slacking. So I start Whirlwinding. I get the Slacking, Soul King, Poison, Toxic, and I get the Miltank Toxic, which is good. We talked after the battle, we have the post-match, which will go up tomorrow probably. But he did have Heal Bell on his Miltank, which was a fear, but his reasoning was there was no point because the Toxic Spikes weren't going anywhere, so he would just get re-Toxic. So he just took this chance to get his rocks up, which is a smart play by him, but again, I just start Whirlwinding and phasing his team around. I know it's a bit of a bitch play, but I'm like, I have free opportunity to do it, so why not? I'll just stay in with the Skarmory and start phasing his team, get as much hazard damage as I can. I know it's not smart with a Regenerator core, but legit, the idea was just to get everything Toxic, which I think at this point I did. Hydreigon obviously and Metagross don't get affected by it, obviously. So I brought in Cofagrigus, because I actually have Hex on this Cofagrigus, so I knew I'd eat a Scald, it's not a problem. So at this point, I believe I go for the Hex, because everything's like statused, so it's a free Hex, maybe? Yeah, because the Tangrowth came in, and I'm not sure if this mattered or not, this crit or not, but I think next turn I outspeed anyway, so I don't think it mattered, but I go for the Hex and I get a crit, and the Tangrowth is gone. Yeah, that's a huge deal. That thing was scary. Plus it means nothing else will go to sleep. Now, I believe at this point, yeah, the Hydreigon comes off. I think I just sack off Cofagrigus. Yeah, I sack off Pythagoras because I knew nothing wanted to take a Draco. I regretted the decision because honestly, like, Pythagoras again walls Mega Metagross 1v1, but I had other stuff to deal with it, like Lando and Scrafty, so just get a free swap again into the Lando, which is Scarfed. I can just start U-turning, and honestly, at this point in the battle, it gets really rinse and repeat. It's basically just me U-turn in, U-turn out, him swap in and out, because he has a Regenerator Core at this point. Yeah, he just brings in the Miltank to... I think it was the best thing he had to eat a U-turn at this point. And I think he was trying to sack it off, to be honest. Because I could have EQ'd because I knew he wouldn't stay in with a Hydro Gun, but again, it was too risky, just in case he roosts or something. So, like, Miltank and Scrafty, it's an obvious play. Like, what can he really do to me unless he's running Brick Break? Plus, I get the Intimidate as well, which is nice. I believe he just stays in and goes for the Body Slam at this point. Yeah, Body Slam. Now this is where the hacks start, because he gets the para and I get paralyzed, which did honestly piss me off because I just Drain Punched and I would have got some HP back, and maybe I could have lived a hit with the Scrafty on something. I doubt it, but maybe. But yeah, I got annoyed by that, so I just knocked off just in case he decided to preserve the Miltank. But yeah, I could have Drain Punched. Honestly, it didn't matter because at this point, either Hydreigon or the Meta Metagross comes in and just completely destroys Scrafty. I sack it off at this point because nothing else wants to take a hit. So Scrafty goes down. I don't mind, to be honest. Like I said, I have stuff for the Mega Metagross. Plus, if we're both switching a lot and I have all those hazards up, and Mega Metagross does not appreciate spikes. So again, yeah, Lando comes in, obvious play, I'm just going to U-turn back out. I get the Intimidate on the Mega Metagross just in case he wants to stay in. He protects again to see what I'll lock myself into. I have no reason not to lock myself into U-turn, so I just go back out. I believe he stays in and goes for a Zen Headbutt, I believe. Yeah, and Skarmory follows it. Look at that. The fear going into the battle was the Mega Metagross would have Thunder Punch, which would somewhat hurt the Skarmory a lot, but he doesn't have it. He only had Ice Punch, which is great, so I can just roost up all my health. And now at this point I realize Skarmory can completely wall this thing because he's revealed more or less his set for the Mega Metagross. He gets the freeze, which honestly pissed me off because he can bring in whatever he wants for free now, which I believe is the Hydro Gun. They can just knock out free Dark Pulses or Dracos. So yeah, that I got annoyed. I believe I just stayed in, trying to thaw out. Yep. So at this point I know I can't stay in just in case he has the Flamethrower. Like, I'm dead to a Flamethrower. Oh, I stayed in actually just to take a hit. Oh yeah, well, I think my thought process was I'm not going to take anything. I think nothing on my team wants to take a hit from this thing. I wasn't well prepared for the Hydro Gun. But I stayed in. I don't know why. I guess I had to take a hit from the Hydro Gun from the Lando. Again, just back into that situation of... Yeah, I got lucky here. I was fearing the Draco, but he roosted, so I was like, let's see how much a U-turn actually does, and does more than half, which I kept in my head. So I can't let him get back up to full health with the roost. But, yeah. Tidal. At this point, really, like, the Typhlosion, he had a Hydro Gun and a Slowking left, and I was like, I don't need it, so it's more or less death fodder. So I got rid of it, and afterwards, talking to him, I regretted it because he feared it. I probably should have kept it around, but, like, yeah, at this point, bring him back in. Lando, if he wants to stay in, he's dead. Otherwise, something's getting hit with a U-turn. Again, I probably should have EQ'd predicting, but I don't know why I didn't. I knew I should have, because yeah, the Mega Metagross was coming in. It would have died. I think it does die here actually to Spike, Stealth Rock, and U-turn. Yeah, it dies here. So yeah, I get that's why I U-turned. I think. I actually at this point I knew that it was dead because of the hazard, so I just U-turned out. So at this point, I think he gets switch initiative because I have to bring in a Pokemon, which I believe is Skarmory. I believe that's all I've got left at this point, Skarmory and Lando. So obviously you can see Skarmory, you're dead. And honestly, at this point, I'm expecting it to just go down. So he brings in his Hydro Gun, and I'm like, I'm gone. You can do anything to me and I'm dead, so I'll just stay in and roost. But thankfully he roosts as well. I think he wants to get up to full health, just to get like so he doesn't get destroyed by a U-turn. So I just start whirlwinding, like it's all I can do really. So I know I outspeed the Slowking, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll just try and roost up, I guess, if I can. I know I outspeed, so yeah, I'll just roost. Or do I Brave Bird? I Brave Bird in the thought process that hopefully Brave Bird plus Poison can kill it. But then he has a Citrus Berry, not only that, he has Slack Off, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's Slayer. He has Stall. So the next, what, 9 turns-ish is legit just a stall battle. Because I can't bring in Lando, because he'll destroy my life. Lando's physically bulky, not especially bulky. So I just try and stall out with Skarmory as much as I can. I needed something to go down. The fact that Hydreigon has Levitate and didn't have the Toxic Spikes honestly does matter, because if that was Toxic, this could have gone my way, but there's nothing at this point I can do. I have to try and Whirlwind the Hydreigon out and keep the Slowking in for as long as possible, to the point where I can whittle it down, to the point where it kills Skarmory. At this point I want Skarmory to die, so I can bring in Lando, just so I can lock myself into U-turn and just destroy Hydreigon and Slowking, because neither of them want to take a U-turn from a Lando. So at this point I'm just roosting to try and whittle Slowking down, taking Scalds. Eventually, I don't mind if I get burned or anything, because I'm not using this thing to attack, it's just there stalling out. I'm just trying to whittle down the Slowking so I can get a free switch into the Lando. Like, I want Skarmory to go down, so like I said, we just start stalling. Like, he's Slack Off, I roost. Like, we both had the same thing in mind, we want a free switch, but I think eventually I started getting frustrated, I'm not gonna lie. I was actually in on TeamSpeak with friends, and they could hear me getting frustrated by the stall on Slayer's part, because he had Slack Off and Roost left, plus Slowking has Regenerator, so I was like, you know what? At some point, I'm going to predict him to go for the Slack Off and swap out into the Lando, and that's where I do it here. I knew it was risky, because if he stalled, it's over. And sadly, he didn't Slack Off, he scalded, so Lando went down. And that was pretty much GG. Like, because Skarmory could have stalled out Slowking, but because Hydreigon is not affected by Toxic Spikes, there was nothing I could do to it. Though Slayer, to his credit, doesn't stall out with Slowking, he just lets it go down to the Toxic. It's nice of him, so I just roost up. Nothing I can do at this point. I know it's GG, it's just a matter of the inevitable. So GG to Slayer. That was week 1. The number 1 and number 2 seeds of the CCL, Slayer and I, the 2 top ranked players, week 1, had a really close battle. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, I got frustrated at the end and just wanted it over. This was why I played the risky move of bringing in the Lando. But yes, I think he just Dark Pulses here and destroys my life. So yeah, that's GG. But yeah, top 2 players in CCL, 1-0 to Slayer. Congrats to him. It was close as hell. I'm proud of how I played, like the plan of phasing with the hazards, because I know spinner was good. I just wish, honestly, the lead, I wanted to lead with Lantern so bad, but I didn't have enough confidence in myself. I made some risky plays. He played really safe, and it worked out for him. It was hacks on both sides, so neither of us were mad. But I'm happy with how the battle went. I think I played well. And honestly, I don't think I could have done much else. I did what I did. My team wasn't as well prepared as he was, as you'll see from my team building. I didn't prep for Hydreigon really, or Slowking, to be honest. But yeah, and you'll hear us talk in the post-match tomorrow. But yeah, that's week 1, battle 1 of the CCL. Sadly, the Canalave Carnivines were down 0-1 so far, but it was a very, very close 1-0. So I'm hopeful for the future. We'll be back in 2 weeks with our battle with our actual co-host of the league, Cyclone the Ghost. So hopefully we'll do better. But there you have it. First battle. GG to Slayer. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new to my channel, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys.